is the same sky for broken hearts. The bright light is shining up, and we are standing on the billion stars, feeling like we are the ones. And if you feel like I feel, you beyond the universe to find you. And if you see like I see you, beyond the universe to hide you. So open your heart and open your mind. Tell me what you need tonight. Open your heart and open your mind. Tell me what we need tonight. Tell me what we need tonight. If you feel like I feel, you beyond the universe to find you. And if you see like I see you, beyond the universe to hide you. So open your heart and open your mind. Tell me what you need tonight. Open your heart and open your mind. Tell me what we need tonight. Tonight. Tell me what we need tonight. I miss those nights when we were younger and we would never sleep. So let's forget about tomorrow and live for tonight while we're free. Touch the sky. Tonight we're coming alive. the sky. Tonight we're coming alive. Touch the sky. Tonight we're coming
Вмію ти сам.
Alright, hello everybody, welcome. This is week 2 of the Vespyr Premier League. Here we are in Champ Select, and this is the first this weekend, and it's between eXire and Ground 6.
Yep, first game of the new week, and we're already into the picks and bans. eXire banning out Callista, and Ground 6 banning out the Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw has been rising in popularity recently because the recent buffs have just been godlike on him.
Yeah, Kog'Maw's certainly been a monster. We've been seeing it in other competitive scenes like the LCS, and many of you have been seeing it in solo queue as well. Kog'Maw, pretty much a must-ban or first pick at this point. Nidalee also banned out, a little bit more surprising of a ban, perhaps.
Well, Nidalee is an extremely potent jungler in the hands of somebody who can play Nidalee. So banning that out is not all that bad, to be quite honest.
Another very standard ban there, the Udyr as well. Again, similar to the Kog'Maw, been seeing a huge amount of play on this patch, and not at all surprised to see it banned out.
Yeah, with the Swifty changes at the beginning of the season, run-at-you champions have become really popular, because you just go Swifties and you ignore all the slows, and Udyr is one of the best-known run-at-you champions.
And another aggressive jungler banned away from EA demo for Ground 6 here by eXire, so definitely, I mean, some strong targeting towards jungle bans. We've seen 3 jungle bans so far, and 2 of them levied at EA demo.
Well, they probably just want to negate all of the early game pressure from the jungle and want to have all the time in the world. So they pick up the Lucian. Actually, when you ban out the Nidalee and the Lee Sin, I would expect you to first pick the Elise, since she is so strong right now. So a possible Elise pickup for Ground 6.
Yeah, possible Elise pickup indeed. I mean, one thing this maybe says to me is that eXire really don't mind, or in fact would quite like to perhaps play with a Rek'Sai as well, because that would be the obvious, well, one of the obvious picks that you would go with if the other team picked up Elise. Last ban as well being Fiora, so again another pretty standard ban. A lot of people been complaining about that pick, I'm very aware of that, so unsurprised to see it banned. And there is the Elise hover, at least, like you predicted.
Yeah, it is to be expected. Elise has actually been picked in almost every Premier League game thus far, and doesn't look like that will change anytime soon. On the other side, we see a possible Caitlyn pickup. Caitlyn is... how should I say this? Pretty cancer-inducing when you play a Lucian. Just continues to poke at you with auto attacks and some Qs here and there, and it just makes for a not too fun laning phase.
Yeah, so always romantic, really looking to bully out Waz and see if he can carry on that lead towards the middle game and, of course, into the later game should it get to it as well. Seeing a Lulu and Alistar hover now. Both of these are locked in, as the Lulu has been already, and I mean, Lulu is always indicative of a protect the AD carry comp, and that looks like exactly what they're going for.
Yeah, and in the last few matches we have seen here and there some attempts at a Lucian hyper carry comp, which is somewhat understandable because at max level his passive does do 60% of his AD with the second shot, and he is extremely powerful in the early game right now, so he might be treated as the new Vayne and a hyper carry that has lane pressure.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, there's no point in the game in which a Lucian is really, really useless, so certainly I think can work very well with the Lulu, the protect the AD carry comps, but I think it does need someone who is very skilled at Lucian to be playing the Lucian to make it really
definitely,
work.
because it's mostly your protection, because of the low auto attack range, your protection is mostly from your E, and that is why on the other side we see a pickup of the Poppy, throwing down that field to stop the Lucian dashes, which can be really bad for the Lucian if he gets caught out.
And also the Braum pick as well on the side of Ground 6. Could be seeing a lot of Cullings pounding their way into a Braum shield and not really finding the target they were hoping for.
Yeah, on their side we see Gragas being picked up. Now, Gragas has been changed a little bit in the last patch, so now his W actually does a small AoE, which helps him a lot in clearing jungle camps, especially the Raptors are not that big of a problem anymore. And we have seen some damage balance changes for the better. Gragas has been in a really bad spot last couple of patches, and we see lock-in of the Gangplank. Gangplank, just like Elise, has been banned in every Premier League game, and now we actually get to see him, which could be dangerous for the side of Ground 6. He is extremely strong right now.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, a bit of a flex here. We don't know whether he'll be going into the top lane or into the middle lane.
True.
Lulu, of course, can flex to either of those roles. It could always be a Gragas mid lane, but something tells me probably not.
Yeah, we have Gragas Smith having Alistar in the jungle and support Lulu.
Yeah, and there is
Yes,
the Orianna just to
best.
round out the team comp from Ground 6. Always a decent pick to round out any team comp, really, because she is a mid laner with incredible versatility, and she can really turn the game around.
Yeah, Orianna's always good because even, as you were saying, like the Lulu and the GP could be swapped around, so picking Orianna is really a good thing because she is always a safe laner, no matter. She doesn't really have any bad matchups. Like, yeah, she has less favorable ones, but still she does have that E, does have the slow and the speed up from the W. She can stay extremely safe in lane, and with the Poppy and the Elise there is a possibility for those multi-man shockwaves to the backline.
Another thing to note is that Asher is currently holding onto that heal in the mid lane, which would be a more defensive summoner certainly. It would mean that the side of Ground 6 actually don't have an ignite if they maintain these summoners, because L'Autre on that Braum is also hovering the exhaust and looks to have locked it in.
Well, I don't think they really need an ignite against this team. Well, not as much, really. Because it's mostly shields that would be going on to Lucian. Like, yeah, there is the Alistar heal, but it's negligible in a team fight. It's somewhat... it's extremely, actually, noticeable in the laning phase. However, in team fights, it's like a 50 health heal. The Lulu shield is, as we said, a shield, and I don't think they need an ignite all that much.
Okay, well, fair enough then. So the heal was locked in for Asher, and on the other side we see 2 ignites, so making up for the lack of Ground 6 ignites on the side of eXire, picking up the ignite both in the middle lane and in the bottom lane as well, looking for a lot more lane pressure in both of those lanes, which is interesting, especially considering you'd have thought the Lucian Alistar lane would have a tough time against the Caitlyn Braum.
Well, when you pick an Alistar, you do have the possibility of just negating that auto-attack range difference, because the distance between the Lucian and the Caitlyn doesn't matter if the Caitlyn is knocked up.
Right.
So you do have that possibility of a headbutt pulverize by the Alistar and then just Lucian relentlessly pursuing towards the Caitlyn to do more than a fair share of damage, and especially because they don't have any sustain in lane. If Braum isn't close enough to protect her, it's just going to be a one-sided trade. On the other side, Caitlyn is just going to be a nuisance with those auto attacks, and Alistar will just spam the hell out of that heal.
So I just want to get your opinions on what you think of the Alistar and the Gragas in this Protect the AD carry comp, because to me it seems like they're very good picks, because you can engage with both of those champions obviously, but you can also use their engage abilities to disengage as well. So it seems to me that Waz on that Lucian has an incredible amount of appeal for him.
Yeah, we'll definitely be looking to him and the Gangplank for most of the damage in this comp. And of course we'll be looking to the Gragas and the Alistar for the engages. A perfectly placed explosive cask could disrupt the entire team of Ground 6 and make them easy pickings.
Yeah, and of course it could also just make sure everyone gets away from Waz, and Waz is safe again. So I think
exactly.
I'm looking forward to seeing how this team comp works. I think the eXire really do have quite a good team comp, provided that Waz can perform on that Lucian as well as we're expecting.
To be honest, I have a feeling like Alistar might want to stand near the Lucian during the fights, because he needs protection from the Poppy. When Poppy jumps in with that W, he needs to be ready to just pulverize her, because Gragas body slam will just get blocked, Lucian dash will just get blocked.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think he probably be looking Peel for the Lucian, if Ground 6 goes on the offensive, of course.
Right. Okay. So looks like we're going to be loading up onto the Rift any moment now. So this is, well, my name is Testiada, with me is Void, and we are bringing you Week 2 of the Vespyr Premier League. This is Game 1 between eXire-eSports on the blue side and Ground 6 on the red side. Be able to take a look at these Keystone Masteries as well once we get into the
Yeah,
just
as soon as it loads up, I'm waiting for that just to touch on. Unfortunately, still have empty borders. Okay. So, we have mostly standard keystones here. Like, both of the junglers taking Stank of Ages, which has become the norm. Alice are going for the more offensive Thunderlord's Decree, and not actually the Windspeaker's Blessing. And the top lane, both top laners have Grasp of the Undying for that lifesteal.
Yeah, certainly summoners we've come to expect, perhaps aside from Warden on that Alistar, because, I mean, I think there are two other summoners that you'd be more likely to see on the Alistar. The Bond of Stone, obviously, because, you know, tank support, you know, it's just...
Yeah, and the Windspeakers because
of
the heal.
as well.
Yeah. Thunderlords is okay if you're preparing to just go all in. If you just want to go, like, level 2 power spike all in, try to kill the Caitlyn and snowball off of that. I think Thunderlords is okay. But it will... Thunderlords on Alistar will be negligible in the late game. So it's more of a early to mid game spike that they're looking for.
Yeah, and once again, sort of prioritizing the laning phase, like the Ignite pick as well. I mean, it's interesting. We should be able to see perhaps some pretty explosive fights pretty early on in that bot lane, hoping to make sure that Waz gets an advantage by picking up perhaps a First Blood or just a regular kill from the laning phase.
Yeah, and because of that situation, I feel like Braum will have to stay somewhat close to the Caitlyn. Not close enough for the Headbutt Pulverize range, of course. But, like, close enough to, when she gets pulverized, he can jump and throw down his shield so that she doesn't take a whole lot of damage. On the other side, Caitlyn just has to try and stay safe and stay relevant in farm.
Yeah, so I think it should be... I think we're looking at a pretty decent game here. Not too much action in the middle lane, perhaps, though you never know. You sometimes see Lulu's getting pretty aggressive in the middle lane, actually, but the heal from Asher on that Orianna might be able to be enough to ward Sebe off of putting any or too much pressure down onto him.
Well, Sebe does have Ignite against heal, and like Ignite is the counter to heal, technically speaking, because of the grievous wounds that are applied.
That is
I
true.
know. I feel like Asher just picked up the heal, of course, for the healing, and for some extra move speed. Like when the gank comes, he can blow heal for the extra move speed and juke away the body slam.
Alright, so here we are on Summoner's Rift, and this is eXire on the blue side and Ground 6 on the red side. We're seeing most of eXire actually moving towards the bottom side jungle here, not necessarily spreading out too much, perhaps spreading out a little more, but they are certainly concentrating on this bottom side, and it looks like Ground 6 are doing something similar, although they're actually going for a more standard 5-point defense, I do believe.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a defensive stuff from both teams. Don't want to do any early game shenanigans with jungle invades.
And nothing particular of note coming out with the starting items either. I mean, both junglers starting the mana regen talisman instead of the Hunter's Machete, but surprising considering the junglers who are in play.
Yeah, it's not just the mana regen, it's also that damaging a monster steals HP. Like, it steals 25 HP over 5 seconds, which is pretty nice for most junglers, actually. Like, I've heard main saying, yeah, I'll just go Hunter's Talisman if the kit of my champion doesn't have any attack speed steroids. Because it's so good right now.
Okay. Looks like
so we see Gragas starting in the top lane. Interesting to see that Lucian and Alistar don't do a camp level 1.
Yeah,
actually, I think they just want to annoy the Caitlyn.
Yeah, they're gonna try and disrupt this camp, but however, Asher is gonna come down towards him. The concussive blows are propped onto his Warden. Warden is quite low. The Piltover Peacemaker going right through, and that will force the flash out of Warden there. So, it was perhaps a nice idea to disrupt the camp. It does stop them from doing the camp in the end, but at what cost?
Yeah, you're up against the Braum. You really shouldn't try to... If you can't juke away the Winter's Bite, don't try and invade like that, because screw it over.
Yeah, and one thing I think as well to note is that, you know, we're expecting to see some early aggression coming out of Warden on that Alistar with the Ignite and with the Thunderlords, but now that he's got his flash down, we can't see any flash engages, so that really might hinder the laning phase on the side of eXire more than it would perhaps in the usual circumstances.
Yeah, and flash creates so much pressure when you're playing an Alistar, because there's always that threat of it's like flash pulverizing somebody.
Doesn't seem to have deterred Waz too much. He's going to go a little bit aggressive, trying to get some poke down using the Light Slinger passive there to do a little bit extra. And he actually hits level 2 first due to the absence of Warden in that lane. Yeah. So, could have been worse in the end actually. Waz keeping up in CS pretty decently, so they didn't really manage to bully him out, Ground 6 didn't, as much as they perhaps would have liked to.
Yeah, it's still just going to be an okay play for the Lucian. He keeps going offensively because he does have that 1 level advantage, and that's probably what he should be looking for, even though his support got kind of roughed up and lost his flash. He can still play offensively.
Seeing some pretty standard top lane looking trades there from Fengdari and Appreciator in that top lane. The Grasp the Undying procking back and forth. Some aggression from Sebi in this mid lane, and Asher is down to half health and already quite low on mana as well, so might be looking to force Asher out of the lane early to force an early recall.
Well, you say some, but Asher is already on like half HP and as you said, no mana, so Sebi's been trying to poke him up out as much as he can.
And he seems to be doing a good job of it. Waz doing a good job to dash away from those 2 skill shots that were headed towards him. Very well done there, mitigating any potential damage that could have come from the Fistical net. Of course, the headshot following that one up as well, so a good dash from Waz there.
Yeah, it looks like both of the junglers are just farming their jungle, not yet looking to influence the lanes. Although it is Elise, I expect her... Oh yeah, she's walking down towards the bottom lane, however she is spotted on that ward.
Yeah, and she's going to be spotted on that ward, and the next one as well. So a plethora of wards there, giving eXire exactly the information they need, and they know EA Demo is coming. That's why they're playing suddenly further back in the lane, and EA Demo not going to be able to get anything too much. He does get the Cocoon actually onto Warden. Warden posturing a little too aggressively, and the concussive blows are onto him, but the Winter's Bite doesn't land, and so it's going to be nothing more doing in that bottom lane.
Yeah, they had a lot of information on where EA Demo was, and...
A flash body slam here from Shepin in the top lane, but will there be enough damage coming out of the early game gangplank from Appreciator? Trial by Fire will be ticking down, but it's not going to be enough to take down Fengdari, I don't believe, and he's going to be able to get out of it just burning his flash.
Oh, Shepin's actually looking for it, doesn't have the range for it.
No,
yeah, Fengdari survives with literally 50 HP there. So 1 more auto would have done it.
And in fact, both of the flashes on the side of eXire there, Shepin and Appreciator, both had to burn their flashes as well as Fengdari. So it's actually 2-for-1 flashes. It does force Fengdari back out of lane, and he does use his TP to get back again, but it's still not a bad trade actually on the side of Ground 6. We are seeing Warden going a bit aggressive in the bottom lane, but that is a good unbreakable shield to block any damage coming out onto Always Romantic, and he will be able to get out of that one. In fact, the concussive blows are turned back onto Waz, and now onto Warden as well. And Warden is very, very low. Waz trying to body block. He does body block the Winter's Bite, and Warden will get out of that one just about.
Yeah, actually, talking about that top lane gank, it actually turned out worse for GP because he has to stay under this turret now. Poppy managed to TP back and hit him with the passive ranged auto attack, and he couldn't back.
Ah, right, okay. Incredibly frustrating there for Appreciator. He will get to back this time, however, but he might lose some minions towards that top turret unless he burns his teleport, and of course he does. Doesn't want to miss too many minions. Misses the one, but should be alright now.
Yeah, no, but now he has Sheen, so he's pretty happy, I'm guessing.
So a little bit more poke going down onto Waz, but he's really actually dictating the pace of this lane. Always Romantic, not bringing as much early game presence as you often see from Caitlyn. We do see the Cannon Barrage coming out in the top lane, and the Pregator will try and go on to Fengari. He's channeling the Keeper's Verdict, and there goes Jeffen. Away he goes, and that will mean that Fengari is absolutely safe there in the top lane.
Yeah, not sure if you saw that deep ward from Poppy, but that was deep as hell. Like, top lane Tri-Brush near the blue buff. That's a really deep defensive ward.
Yeah.
Helped Poppy spot out the Gragas before that gank.
Indeed. So very prepared, knowing that she was going to have to use the Keeper's Verdict there, and using it very well to ensure that safety. However, Jeffen is hanging around in the top lane as well. The great block there from Fengari, and now EA Demo is there, and Jeffen is the one who finds himself in trouble. Knocked into the wall, he's going to be locked up there, and he's going to go down for first blood. EA Demo picks it up with the counter. Still, actually, a little bit of aggression here in the top lane. A Pregator might not be out of it alive, as well as some aggression in the bot lane. It's going backwards and forwards. Warden's the one who looks like he's most in trouble. The Peacemaker comes through, but it's a good heal from Waz to keep his support alive. A Pregator will go down in the top lane, eventually to Fengari. The passive picks it up. He gets it with the Buckler Shield, and that is 2 kills for round 6, for 0 on the side of eXire.
Yeah, and like, that was so... I don't even know how to say that. Like, 2 fights on the opposite side of the maps. Like, both extremely dangerous and high octane. In the bottom lane, Brom barely managed to survive.
The culling, always Romantic, going down to a sliver of health, but manages to get the Caliber net away in the end, but very, very low health. In fact, he flashed out of that one.
Yeah,
so
he had to flash out of that one. He survived with 20 HP. So, both summoners had to be burned by Always Romantic and Brom. On the other side, both summoners have been blown by Warden and Waz as well, so...
Yeah, the bot lane as explosive as we predicted it would be, but no kills, surprisingly enough. Warden and Always Romantic both went incredibly low multiple times, but they managed to just about stay alive. Very, very on the edge, but very good play, both teams.
Yeah, but the lane is slowly shifting towards Lucian's favor since he is winning in CS.
And that's not what you want out of your Caitlyn in the end.
You definitely don't want that from the Caitlyn.
Yeah.
She's gonna have a very tough time against a Lucian with the BF sword and 2 long swords.
So if this sort of dominance is kept up in the bot lane by Waz, and he does have those 2 extra long swords to help him maintain it, then Always Romantic, we could be seeing a long time before he reaches his real period of relevancy here.
Yeah. We see actually EA Demo sneaking a dragon.
Sneaky a dragon, but meanwhile his support is in trouble. Lotra is gonna go quite low, but actually he's got the Unbreakable up and he's gonna be able to escape. EA Demo is low from the dragon and can't really fight all that well. Always Romantic, gonna channel the ace in the hole just to make sure his team can get out safely in the end, deter any further aggression, and nothing will come of it in the end.
Yeah, well, he did manage to stop the Elise from doing the dragon. Like, unintentionally, but he did manage to do it.
Oh, we're actually getting a shockwave coming out of Asher here. Both ultimates use the wild growth as well. Asher uses the heal, and Sebe, despite the ignite, is the one who finds himself in retreat. But they turn it around with Shepherd coming in beautifully at just the right time, and he picks up the kill there for his mid laner. So that's 1 kill back for the eXire-eSports.
Poor Asher. Like, played that so well. Almost picks up the Lulu, and just like Gragas had to spoil the fight.
The flash must have just come off cooldown actually from Jeffen, because he flashed body slam there, and we saw him do that not too long ago in the top lane as well. Good Unbreakable from Lotra will make sure that Always Romantic maintains a very high level of health for now in that bottom lane.
Yeah, we see Elise taking the Rift Scuttler and... Oh! Oh, Shepherd! Steals away the Scuttler with the barrel.
Beautiful play. Actually, the culling comes out onto Lotra. There is the Unbreakable, but will it be enough actually? He goes incredibly low, and the Unbreakable times out just at the right time, and Waz picks it up with the second passive auto. That's 2 for 2 now, and eXire looking to mount a comeback here.
Yeah, we can now see the power of the Lucian with those double long swords. Meanwhile, at the top lane, we see Shepherd looking for a gank onto this Poppy.
Yeah, they might be actually trying to bait the dive as well. A Pregator backing in full view of Feng there, but he is going to secure the back, and Sheffen's going to back as well. So the TP is forced out of a Pregator, but that's too much to worry about in the end.
Yeah, we see Warden just standing near the Dragon Pit. That is warded, of course, from the side of ground 6.
Good trade, actually, on back towards Waz in that bottom lane. Always Romantic getting a bit better of that one, actually, in the end. But they do both have biscuits, and they will be able to heal up, as well as the Triumphant Roar. EA Demo hanging around the bottom lane once again, and he might be able to get the Cocoon onto Waz. He dashes away, and Warden takes it for him, but he has that Unbreakable Whip, so he should be able to get out alive. The Cannon Barrage actually comes around, and it looks like eXire might be looking to turn this one around. It's quite low, and Waz is going to be popped out, and the Exhaust comes out as well. Rotra is ticking down from the Ignite. Is he going to stay alive? No, he goes down to Warden, and now Warden is the one in trouble. However, Sheffen comes in, and it's a great explosive cast. Splits Always Romantic away from EA Demo, and Waz is there to pick up that kill. The TP towards the bottom lane. It did actually come out of Fengdara, and he doesn't quite manage to get Waz against the wall, and that will mean Fengdara is probably going to be going down as well. Cocoon does land from the EA Demo, and a Keeper's Verdict comes out, and actually eXire find themselves too low to keep going. Maybe not. They do in the end, and that, I hope, at least, will be the end of that one.
Another big fight in the bottom lane, this time with help from both junglers and the ground 6's top laner. That flash charge was so close to getting the stun onto Waz, but just not close enough.
Yeah, and the fact that it wasn't close enough means that Fengdara might actually get nothing for this, and he's probably going to lose his top turret. Not quite a Pregator, really could have stuck around for that last auto attack, you feel, but he might be able to just get it on the next wave.
The turret is on 8 HP, literally.
Yeah. Fengdara is now here to defend it as well, so he might be able to if he clears the wave quick enough. He's actually going to go aggressive onto a Pregator instead, but I'm not sure he has the damage to really secure anything out of that one. Bow from a Pregator does get blocked out
denied
from Fengdara in the end, so he won't be able to secure the turret this time.
Yeah, we see EA Demo looking towards the top side, but a Pregator knows what's up. He does have that ward in the river.
So, I mean, do you think there's any real strategic importance of leaving that top lane turret up, or do you think it was just a misplay?
Well, I think it was a misplay, to be honest. Like, I could say that denying more CS is good, which definitely is. However, I don't think it's worth all the global gold your entire team is missing. And this opens up the Rift Herald for ground 6.
It does actually, and in fact we actually see Asher heading up towards the middle lane instead. Sebe is backing, so he's not going to be able to help contest it, and Asher does pick it up in the end. However, EA Demo will be the one who secures the buff for himself, and maybe that means we'll be looking to see EA Demo helping to push one of these lanes now.
Look at this bot lane, 40 CS lead by the Lucian. That is just brutal for the Caitlyn.
Yeah, that
like,
is...
Caitlyn, the problem with Caitlyn is she has that giant mid-game power dip, where she doesn't have that lane dominance because of the auto attack range, and she doesn't pump out as much damage as any other ADC in team fights. And now she doesn't even have the laning phase.
No, yeah, she has two moments, well, two areas in which she's incredibly powerful, and one of them has just been wasted here. Waz has really, he's been the one who's been so powerful in this bot lane, so... hopefully we'll see Always Romantic be able to come back from it, but it might be a long time until he does, and his team might have to stall out the game quite considerably. Both teams exactly even on gold, actually, at the moment. The gold is evened out because there are 2 extra kills onto the side of eXire, but the turret advantage, 1-0, is there for ground 6 at the moment.
Yeah, Gaga's looking for a sneaky lane gang in the bottom side, however, he'll just get spotted out by the ward when trying to move from brush to brush.
And I think, Ground 6 might be a little suspicious of it as well, because Waz isn't really playing as aggressive as they
he usually does, yeah.
And also, they know that pink ward is in that brush, so I mean, you don't usually pink that brush unless you're planning to have some kind of thing going on there, so...
Yeah, so very well played by Ground 6's bot lane, not getting baited in to doing anything offensive.
They're going to be just clearing out under turret here. Waz taking a couple of turret shots, or just the one, but nothing too major. The turret is going quite low, and Sheffen is actually here. As soon as the turret goes down. He's going to look to go aggressive. Explosive cast comes out, but it was a good 90 caliber net to get Always Romantic out of it. Lotra flashes away as well. The Cannon Barrage doesn't provide enough of a slow. And now Sebe finds himself in trouble in the mid lane, but he's actually going to look to turn it around onto EA Demo. The Ignite is ticking, but it won't really be enough there. And Sebe does burn both flashes in that middle lane.
Oh, he's looking for it. Gets spotted out by the pink ward. I fully believe if there was no pink ward there or ward of any kind, EA Demo would just have continued backing and gotten glitter lanced.
That would have been quite a fun snipe to see. And taking a bit of pain from a Pregator, but really dealing more than he's taking so far in this top lane. The duels definitely Fengdere having the better of them.
Yeah, well, GP does need a fair amount of time to scale. He does have that Trinity Force, but he really needs the Infinity Edge and just more items to be useful.
And using the Gangplank ultimate globally, I mean, that's obviously playing to a major strength of it, but it does mean that there's less to fear for Fengdere in that top.
Yeah, less lane pressure, definitely.
Oh, a good dodge away from Sebe there. The EA Demo are going to still go aggressive. The Spiderlings will tank up the turret, and nothing much will come of it in the end. I mean, a good attempt at a gank, but it was very well dodged out actually by Sebe.
Yeah, and Demo just continuing to deal damage just to push Sebe out of lane so that they can get some pressure for this dragon.
And it looks like round 6 are going to start it up here. It's already down to about half health, and there's not a much response coming out of eXire. This will be a free
as hell. It was
in
just
the end for round 6.
Yeah, Gragas was nowhere as near. The bottom lane is no longer Lucian and Alistar, it's Gangplank trying to get some sort of split push going and get more CS for himself.
Shepard tries to go aggressive and actually finds himself cocooned. However, that baited EA Demo. He baited himself into it and he will go down. Lotra was baited in as well and he goes down as well. And it's now 6 kills to 2. Fengdere is flanking on the backside, but he might just find himself in trouble instead. I'm not sure what he was hoping to get out of that one. The culling comes out. Waz doing a lot of damage to him. The Keeper's Verdict comes out, but it only knocks the Gragas away. And a Pregator is there on the other side to cut off his retreat. The kill will go over to Waz. He's got 4 kills now, 4-0-2 on that Lucian who's looking to be his team's hyper carry, and boy is he setting up for it well.
Yeah, it was just going to become a monster now. 175 farm and 4 kills and 2 assists. There's little you can do about him right now. He pumps out so much damage, and with those consistent crits from the Essence Reaver, and I'm guessing he's going to go back now and finish up his rapid fire cannon. Doesn't actually have enough for it. Needs 150 gold. That's why he's going into the jungle.
Ooh, a good unbreakable from Lotra actually secures that turret's life for now. Sebe is caught right on the edge of that shockwave. He's going to be cocooned. The wild growth does come out. It's probably not going to be enough as the concussive blows are popped and EA Demo picks up the kill. Shepard now might find himself in trouble. He's just going to drink a bit of alcohol and then waddle on out of that one for now.
Yeah, Sebe not backing off as quickly as he should have there. Doesn't have the support of the Lucian anymore, so he should have played a bit more careful.
Yeah, and once again, we actually see eXire taking a turret incredibly low and not actually quite securing it when you really feel like they could have done.
Yeah, 72 HP, the top lane one is still on 8. Like, the only lane pushed is the bottom lane.
Borden does have to pop that unbreakable will, and the explosive cast was used from Sheffin as well, so a lot used to secure the disengage for the support. Waz actually finds himself in trouble. Very good play from Fengdere, and Waz tries to dash, but he's blocked by the Poppy W, and that would be a shutdown for Fengdere. That's exactly what round 6 needed.
And now they can secure Baron. Because Waz is down, the only one even close is Sebe, because Sheffin actually backed away.
And
there should be a Baron for round 6.
Sebe is walking along as well, so they're gonna know he's coming as soon as he does. In fact, the Gangplank ultimate might be all that's needed to secure the disengage here, and Baron does stay alive. We're actually seeing a TP coming in, but it is cancelled in the end from a Pregator there. That would have been perhaps a little too aggressive. Sheffin looking to see if he can pick up an exit frag here as round 6 are full out retreating from this Baron now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm still looking at Waz. Look at this guy. Essence Reaver, Rapid Fire Cannon, and Alacrity Boots of Lucidity.
Yeah,
he's going to be so mobile and going to pump out so much damage. It's going to be obscene. And we see Warden, the hero.
There we go. Finally, it's been asking for that for a long time, and he does take it down in the end. The middle lane turret was secured by Sebe as well, so now we're seeing a much bigger gold swing now. We're up to the realm of about 3,000 gold ahead now for eXire.
Yeah, but when you hear like 3,000 gold, you're like, oh well, that isn't that much of an advantage. But then you think about that 3,000 gold is just the gold difference between AD carries. The rest of the lanes are fairly even.
Yeah, and Waz does have the entire team comp there to set him up, so that is really dangerous here. In round 6, they're going to have to look to come up with an answer to it. They did have something of an answer. Fengdari did manage to get the flank onto Waz that one time, catch him out towards his own blue buff, but you got to think that Waz won't let that happen again.
Yeah, they're just grouping up to push down this middle lane. They know that this solution is extremely powerful, and it's going to be hard for round 6 to defend. Actually, they just split away right now.
Yeah, it's gonna split up and, you know,
This is kind of dangerous for Waz. Like, he's all alone, and if Demo decided to follow him instead of secure the blue buff for his Orianna, it could have been an unfortunate situation.
He actually used the culling in the bot lane to push that wave quicker, which means that he really had some urgency with that wave push. A Pregator is pushing quite hard in the top lane as well. Fengdari is going to go up there to try and defend that top turret, and he's going to be spotted on a lot of wards, so a Pregator will be able to get out of that one in the end. And just...
Yeah, and Waz picked up the Krugs. Probably just wants some safe gold. He has 1k in the pocket. Yeah, picks up a Vampire Acceptor. Wants to get some lifesteal probably for surviving these fights, just to make sure that he is going to survive.
And we could also see it that Vamp Scepter built into perhaps a Mercurial Scimitar. Usually you see the QSS being the first factor of that Mercurial Scimitar being bought, but if Waz wants to become more powerful more quickly, then it could be a smart pickup, but at the same time could ensure that he's safe from any stray cocoons or perhaps being charged into a wall by Poppy that might happen to him.
Yeah, like as much as I love Bloodthirster, he just has to go Merc Scimitar because he's the real carry of the team. The Gangplank still isn't online yet. Like, he has some damage, but it's not that massive GP at like 30 minutes. So Waz just needs as much protection as he can get and try and carry the team.
We are seeing, I mean, a fight I think is really brewing here. We are seeing almost all summoners and ultimates up, and Gary takes a little bit of poke from Waz, but it's not too much. The culling does actually come out, but as we anticipated, it's blocked by that Unbreakable Shield. Now we see the Gangplank ultimate as well as the Gragas ultimate used, and that just means that round 6 are forced away from the mid lane, and eXire have a free route to that mid lane turret. Warden is going to be taken away, and actually Waz is pottering too far forward. He goes down before he can do anything, and always Romantic picks up that kill. Shepard gets away to the side, and a Pregator is on the side as well. They're going to be able to secure the rest of the team disengaged, but once again, Waz is the one caught out, and he's the one they do not want being caught out.
And this is why he needs that QSS. Like, the chain stuns and then the shockwave just brutally murdered him. If he cleansed away the first stun and dashed away, he had a possibility of surviving that one.
And in fact,
although he shouldn't really be playing that far up.
Yeah, no, it's pretty aggressive play, and he was caught out. I mean, it was a pretty good combination of ultimates there to secure a free row up the mid lane, but it was well countered in the end by round 6, and they were able to bring it back around. And as soon as Waz was sent back to base, rather, he did pick up that Null Magic Mantle, so he's now more than ever certainly realizing he needs to be building towards that QSS.
Yeah, and, well, the Null Magic Mantle is going to help him out in and of itself against some AP damage. However, the problem for him is if he takes some damage, well, some CC, he'll probably take all the damage. So, building any other defensive item doesn't matter much. Like, Steric's Gauge at this point, sure, you think, like, yeah, it will give him a nice amount of health and a nice shield. However, like, that doesn't mean much if 5 players throw everything at you.
And to be honest, Sebe on that Lulu is just, he's basically a walking Steric's Gauge for Waz, especially when you get towards the late game with that ultimate, so...
Yeah, haven't seen him actually, like, help out Waz all that much.
No, a lot of the wild growths have been used when members of the team, such as Sheffin or Warden, have been caught out, so just to secure their safety. So it's not ideal, and if the members of eXire can't stop getting caught out, then Sebe might not really have that ultimate up in a lot of fights to use on Waz.
Yeah, and like the Lulu build, Fiends into Rabadons, it's kind of interesting. I'm not too sure about
I'm
that.
sensing
one,
you're not a
honest.
fan of this.
I don't think like I'm a fan of Rabadons when I play APs, of course. Like who doesn't like more damage? However, I don't feel like damage is what he needs to bring to these fights. Like the shields do have AP scaling, but I don't know, something a bit more utility might have been better. Like I'm not too sure. I'm not that big of a Lulu player. By that I mean I have played her once in my life, so I'm not the best authority.
We are actually seeing Asher going for... I mean, he's one component behind, the component being the completion of the Rabadons, but he looks to be building exactly the same thing. Shepherd does use the explosive cast, but it doesn't really displace as much as possible, and Warden actually finds himself in towards the team, but that might be exactly what he wanted. He lands a headbutt pulver onto Asher, and the cannon barrage is taking him down the whole time. Fengdari is probably going to be going down here. Waz, Afregiate is actually the one who takes him down. Always Romantic tries to get away. He does manage to get over the wall, and that will secure his escape here. And only one person going down in that fight. That seems to be what's happening in most of these fights so far.
Yeah, but it is Fengdari on that Poppy who is extremely tanky, so... Like, they did enough damage to take down 5 people, let's be honest. It's Poppy, she is like a walking brick wall.
Yeah. Speaking of a walking brick wall, there's a walking ice wall at least, and he does manage to prevent the inhibitor turret from going down too much damage, mitigated by the unbreakable for the side of eXire to really keep pushing onto that turret. They do take one turret, however, for their troubles, for taking down Fengdari, so that will expand their gold lead back up to around 4k now.
Yeah, and they're just going to send up Was to the top lane to get more farm. I haven't finished that QSS up. He actually has enough gold for the QSS. He's probably just looking to finish up the entire Merc Scimitar, since that is a big damage spike. Would you think about the Scimitar as like a defensive item built out of QSS, but it gives 75 AD. It's just like Zonya's. It gives more than enough offensive stats for its defensive capabilities.
Yeah, and Was. There we go. There is the completed QSS. So he will be a lot safer in these fights now, and might be able to afford the aggressive posturing that he has been really bringing so far to the fights. That last fight went pretty well, actually. He did manage to get away when he thought he was in trouble from Fengdari, managed to maintain a lot of damage onto him. The top laners bumping into each other, taking a while to notice what's going on.
Yeah, that was interesting. Between the top laners, just like a friendly greeting, like, oh, hello there.
Yeah, it's just... maybe they didn't recognize each other or something, who knows?
Yeah, that... An interesting situation, definitely. And now that, this GP has that Essence Reaver finished up and has another BF sword, probably for the Infinity Edge. So, right now he has a fair bit of crit chance, like 40%. Once he finishes that Infinity, that's 60% plus the augmented Infinity damage.
But will all that crit chance be enough to save him here? Fengdari and EA Demo have baited him into an aggressive position. He's going to be not actually stunned up against wall. He eats the orange anyway, but the cocoon will stun him in the end, and EA Demo is the one who picks up that kill.
No, he just like, with no warding there to save him from the Elise, he's just straight up dead. It's Gangplank, he doesn't have much mobility. Yes, he does have like the passive from the barrels, but...
yeah, he also has even less mobility when he's only sitting on boots of speed right now, rather than upgrading them, which is...
Oh yeah, he just upgraded him to swiftness. He realizes, I might need some more speed to survive this one. Probably not the best if I'm always caught out.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that Waz has gone for the cooldown boots rather than the swiftness boots. I suppose it almost brings as much mobility, really, because the extra cooldown means more dashes for Waz, so I suppose...
Yeah, it's
in that
just
sense,
like the best thing you can get on Lucian, because it does cap you out at 40% CDR, since Essence Reaver with 50% crit brings you to exactly 30. And just like those dashes are going to be so obscene.
Yeah.
Like a 3-second cooldown when you proc your passive, because of, well, Relentless Pursuit cooldown being lowered every time you hit somebody with Lightslinger.
Yeah, and we see the third dragon of the game actually going over to ground 6 now, so they, for all of their gold disadvantage, they are stacking up turrets pretty well, and that is something that if they manage to stall out the game, the eXire are going to have to become more wary of and try and shut down.
Yeah, actually looking at the top lane, like, there was a fight between the Gangplank and the Poppy, and Gangplank showing that now he can actually contest the Poppy, and could possibly even kill her.
Yeah, it was all the
He
stats
does a
those
lot of
Swifty
damage
boots
with
for
crits.
him, really. Just kidding, of course, I know they only bring a bit of extra movement speed.
Well, movement speed is power. Like you,
Yeah,
you can juke away the poppy Qs with them.
I suppose, yeah.
And that's a lot of damage negated from the poppy. And since most of her damage is just like Q and Sunfire burn,
Mm-hmm.
so a pretty nice pickup.
Waz going quite aggressive again, but Fengari has enough shields to make sure that there's no significant damage coming out of Waz in the end. Waz has a shield of his own, says I can do that too, and I can do it better, but no fight actually going to come of that.
Yeah, they're just like, oh,
Ooh.
Waz going in for a passive proc and does around 40% of Asher's HP in those two auto attacks.
Ooh, a very good flash there from Little Trash. He secures his safety for a moment, but he actually finds himself caught out straight away again. Cannon Barrage not really landing on towards anyone here. The culling does come out, but it's countered by the Glacial Fissure and it won't be completed. Fengari wreaking havoc in the backlines, but he might have bitten off more than he can chew. He's very low, but he does actually get the Command Protect, and that's a big shockwave onto 3 members. Sebe has to use the Wild Growth on himself, and a Pregiator is the first to fall. EA Demo is picked up by Waz on the other side of that fight, and that fight is a 1-for-1 so far.
These fights are like actually well played by Ground 6 because they know when to disengage and they just like right now they trade 1-for-1. They are 5k down. They're trading 1-for-1. So they're doing a pretty good job. Like they're letting this Caitlyn scale up. She has that last whisper and is building towards probably the Merc Scimitar, possibly even the Bloodthirster. Once she gets the 4 items, she's actually going to start doing a lot. She's back to that, like, Caitlyn's actually relevant point.
And I think the fact that we're only ever seeing, you know, 1-for-1s or 1-for-0s in these big team fights means that